Recall efforts in Chicago is gaining steam. Take a look.
There is a new move to recall Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. The first attempt, you may remember, came from a Chicago resident, an average citizen. But this next one comes from Springfield. NBC5's Chula Vachahusky got the mayor's reaction to this today.
As he joined a cavalcade of public officials welcoming a $1.9 billion federal investment in the CTA's Red Line extension, Mayor Brandon Johnson brushed off what have been increasing calls for him to be recalled.
As far as, people introducing legislation, that's their job to do that.
Late Thursday night, Representatives Anthony DeLuca and LaShawn Ford introduced HB 1084, calling for a clear and effective process to conduct recall elections in cities like Chicago.
People are asking for it. It's not something that I thought of myself. It's something that constituents asked for in 2015 after the Laquan McDonald's tape was released.
At the time, Ford's bill, which he has introduced every year since, was aimed at Mayor Rahm Emanuel. There is already a grassroots effort underway to collect the more than 56,000 signatures necessary to force a recall. The man behind that movement is Dan Boland.
Every day that the mayor is in office is a master class in why a Chicago mayoral recall mechanism is needed.
The mayor's office is still reeling after questions were raised about his status as an on-leave member of the Chicago Teachers Union and his involvement in contract talks, as well as criticism from the governor's office about his relationship with Springfield.
The good thing about the work that we do in the city of Chicago, a perception of one individual doesn't define the entire city of Chicago.
I think that Brandon Johnson is probably one of the most arrogant people that I've ever seen as a legislator. Not confident, because confidence and arrogance is two different things. It looks different, right? Confidence is you talking your talk, but you also know that you walking a walk, that you are delivering. I like to always say that it's Mayweather. A lot of people didn't necessarily like Mayweather, but what Mayweather did was he delivered every single time. There was nobody that was even close. As much as you may not have liked the way that he talked, he over-delivered and he backed it up, whether it was with the numbers or his performance inside of the ring and being one of the most technically proficient fighters that you've ever seen in your entire life, right? That's confidence. Arrogance is this. Arrogance is thinking that you really doing your thing and you don't want to hear or see or read the room and can't really understand that you're not that. And so, the one concern that I do have in Chicago, even though I think that this mayor should be recalled, is who do you replace him with? Because if you replace him with something that's just as bad, if not worse, then it was all for nothing. In addition to that, ladies and gentlemen, TikTok, people are leaving and going to other platforms in anticipation of TikTok no longer being available in the app stores. Check it out.
We're just going to TikTok's other app.
Tonight, amid fear a TikTok ban could take effect later this week, some Americans flocking to Chinese apps like RedNote.
I'm a TikTok refugee.
And Lemonade.
Hello, Lemonade. This is my first video.
Both apps have similarities to TikTok, and Lemonade shares a parent company, ByteDance. The platform's topping Apple's downloads.
We are doing this to spite our own government.
Some say it's a form of protest.
By going to an app like RedNote, they're saying, no, I am in control of where I give my data.
Have y'all seen, are y'all looking at the profile, right? And user experience, before I, left corporate America, and user experience, what we used to do, and this is so funny because everybody said that you shouldn't profile, is we profile. And to create a profile or a persona, right? We would actually create 10 to 20 different personas. And the personas were basically profiling the users that we were targeting and the users that were a part of our applications that we already had in flight, right? And so what we would do is we would create all of these different personas that spoke to what we were trying to solve for, right? The problems that we would work towards. And it would be white man, 54, walks around with an Android and he wears Obama jeans. And we would actually design the person. We wouldn't just say, hey, this is what he used. This is how often he's up. These are the applications that he's paying attention to outside of the application that he's using for us, this and that, so on and so forth. We would also like design the person and give them a face. And anytime that we would have a disagreement, or if I seen a developer that had a question and he would disagree with a product owner, then I would always bring them back if I couldn't get them on the same page, because essentially, as a user experience director, your job is not only to give them direction as to what it is that we're delivering to the customers, but your job is also to bridge the gap between the developers and the product owners and everybody else that was on the team, right? You were the voice, and often at times we would use what we would call personas to bring people back to the front of the congregation, right? So if y'all just can't see eye to eye, or you just disagreeing because the product owner is saying, I want this, and the developer is saying, I don't think that that makes sense. Well, we would always refer back to the persona. And I say, hey guys, listen. It's not about us. Take yourself out of it. It's not about whether or not you want it. The question is, does it make sense for the user? And I would say, and so Jason over there, our Asian Jason, right? We would always give him two names. We would give him a description, an adjective, and then their name, right? We would say Asian Jason, or Angry Susan, or this and that, and so on and so forth. And maybe I'll go through it with you guys and break it down inside of the Patreon. I think that would be an interesting Patreon exclusive, because that way it could help you guys with your businesses, and I'll go over and I'll break it down. But we would always give them these adjectives or these descriptions. So we would give them a face, and I would say, well, what about Angry Susan? What does she think? Do you think Angry Susan really cares about whether or not you like this color or whatever, so on and so forth? Angry Susan is having problems logging in. And so that's how we would always present the case to solve for, or to advocate for, whether or not we wanted a feature, or whether we wanted to get rid of something, or it was too cumbersome, or it was too slow, or whatever. And when I see this, y'all said Black Chris, when I see every last one of these people, whether or not they got bonnets on their head, or they look like angry liberals, or I see this woman that was previously on here like her, we're doing this to spite our government. All of these people fit the profile of Kamala Harris supporters and Biden voters, honest to God. And that's just the way that my brain works. I see things differently. I don't look at it just from what is being presented on the screen a lot of times. I look at it and I say, these people are the personification of angry, disappointing liberals, probably would allow for people to use their own bathrooms, all of that. All of these people that's complaining, honest to God, are the personification of dusty to me. Dusty women who probably are cat ladies and probably can't get a man. And so they put on these wild glasses and they kind of resemble the anger of an Amanda Seals and the presentation layer of a cat lady that got 3 Starbucks jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of these people look the same. They act the same. They fit the personification. And that's how we do. We suppose a profile to solve for a problem. Anyways, don't let me get off on a tangent. Let's focus. Let's get back to it.
It's a form of protest.
I go into an app like RedNote, they're saying,
Tyrone.
no, I am in control.
If you seen this woman walking in the streets, right? Who do you think that you would say that she voted for? Do you think that she would say, I'm about making America great again, and we need to deregulate so that we can pay down our national debt? And do you think that she would be one of those type of people, or do you think that she would possibly be a tree hugger and a scissor kicker? I'm willing to bet the latter. Probably a part of the Adopt a Pet program, lives in Seattle somewhere. You know? Anyways, let me focus.
Of where I give my data.
Some users even protesting American-owned Meta.
You will not catch
all
me
of
on
them are the
Instagram
same,
Reels.
bro.
The law that could ban TikTok largely focuses on U.S. government concerns that China could manipulate content Americans see or steal user data. TikTok denies this. TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, is explicitly named in the law. Users, for now, assuming the government isn't prepared to also block other apps like RedNote, but they could eventually be impacted because of their Chinese ownership. ByteDance could sell TikTok to an American owner. Today,
somebody said, perfect time to make a Black-owned platform. Man, don't nobody care about y'all identity politics platforms. Don't y'all already got one? Isaac Hayes III or something made it. It's called It's full of bugs, ain't been updated in like 5 years. What's the name of it? Man, listen, bro. People want stuff that's awesome that they can use, that actually recommends them what they want to recommend and within an algorithm. Don't nobody care about y'all identity politics platform. This one is black owned. Don't you realize that saying that something is black owned actually limits the reach of your application? And so that's why you don't brand it that way, because you're basically alienating the other 85% of the population inside of the United States of America. Perfect time to create a black-owned platform. Don't nobody care about your platform if it's black-owned. They just want a good platform. Have you supported black-owned businesses? No, I didn't, because their service was bad and it was full of diabetes. Black-owned. Let go of your racist ways. Nobody cares about your identity politics. You're going to die on that hill and still be in identity politics and limit the amount of interactions and great connections that you can make in your life. Don't listen. When you segment yourself off and say, I only want to deal with these people, first of all, you're not supposed to do something against somebody that you wouldn't want done to you. So if you wouldn't want somebody to say, I want a white-owned platform, then don't do it and say, I want a black-owned platform. It sounds dumb and it's racist. Secondly, you have no clue the amount of opportunities and limits that you place on yourself that you don't even realize that you miss, because there's somebody out there that is looking at you and saying, yeah, okay, I see it. And they never even say nothing. Opportunities pass you by every single day because you so focused on segmenting yourself away from another group of people who don't even care about any of the stuff that happened before them and is not responsible for the things that their grandparents did. Grow up. You too old. Too old for that.
A question swirling if Elon Musk is in the mix to buy it after Bloomberg reported Chinese officials have discussed that, according to people familiar with the matter. TikTok tells NBC News that's pure fiction. Savannah Sellers, NBC News.
We'll see what happens. I'm going to just observe, and I'm going to see what happened with this TikTok man, and I'm going to keep you guys up to date. And then last but not least, Starbucks is reversing its open door policy. What does that mean? Check it out. I'll explain it to you afterwards.
Starbucks is reversing its open door policy, meaning if you're not a customer, you're no longer welcome.
And Starbucks says the new rule is to improve safety and the customer experience. Fox 13's Alejandra is joining us from Seattle. Ali, what do people think about this?
It's a mixed bag. Some people are glad this is the new norm, but others are bummed as they say this is what Starbucks is known for, its open spaces. But this is Starbucks saying they don't want to be America's public restroom anymore. Now, every time you walk into a Starbucks, you can get a quick look at that new code of conduct because it will be displayed at every single location. Spotted in plazas, airports, hospitals, even small-town streets, the green siren logo is a near universal beacon for coffee enthusiasts.
This is a venti decaf Americano. It's afternoon.
Have your order ready.
Sit and visit. No, I grab and go.
No matter what you choose, Starbucks is saying goodbye, see you later to public cafes, patios, and restrooms. The coffee giant's latest code of conduct says you must pay to play.
Part of Starbucks culture historically has been that it's a public space and that it's a place for people to meet and to get work done and probably also to enjoy coffee when they do it, but it was never a requirement before. I'm surprised that they're making that move.
I heard that. I kind of think the state of our country now that it's necessary, because I think you're going to have a lot of riffraff if you don't do that.
No drink, no Wi-Fi.
I agree. I think if you're going to use the establishment, then you need to buy something.
The reversal of Starbucks' open door policy or update comes as part of CEO Brian Nichols' strategy to improve the cafe experience.
Like, I wish I could go to the bathroom without having a code, but we have to have a code.
The idea is to have a welcoming experience, meaning no disruption.
I remember, didn't they get a new CEO? The CEO that was at Chipotle, they now got him over at Starbucks, if I'm not mistaken. He making some changes on y'all, cracking y'all heads open. You saying, some people in the chat is saying, why now? That's why now, because they got a new CEO that is going to change the culture of what's happening over at Starbucks.
Option of spaces, harassment, violence, no smoking or vaping, or using drugs. Outside alcohol, Not here. These rules and regulations are meant to deter those experiencing homelessness and non-paying customers who walk in just to use the restroom.
What did they get called for? Because there were two black guys sitting here meeting me?
You recall this PR fiasco, the reason the open door policy was put in place to begin with, after two black men were arrested at a Philadelphia store in 2018. The arrest of Dante Robinson and Rashawn Nelson sparking nationwide conversation when they were told the restroom was for paying customers only. The pair was waiting for a friend to meet them at Starbucks. Starbucks says other retailers have a policy like this in place. And while less businesses are offering public restrooms, they want to keep employees and customers safe. In Seattle, we've seen the closure of two locations, Capitol Hill and the Pike Place storefront.
I think it's necessary. It's sad because it'd be nice if they just let anybody in, but I don't think the way things are these days.
I agree. At the end of the day, these are businesses. This is not a shelter. This is not for people to, do what they want to do when they want to do it. They have to spend money to make money. They have to keep the doors open. And if y'all ever have ran restaurants, or if you've ever been in a position to run any retail location and you make a restroom public, or you allow people to use the bathroom, a lot of times, the ones that are the non-paying customers are the ones that's the most disrespectful to the business. They're the most disrespectful to the bathroom. They will destroy your bathroom. They will write on the walls. They will take a dump anywhere. They will piss on the floors, not wash their hands, and walk out the door. And then you got to spend time, money, resources, and labor going behind them to clean it up just to make sure that you're pedestrian friendly. So you got to dog it out so everybody else can use it. People that don't spend money, usually they care less. People that don't spend money, they care less. And this is just from my own personal experience in running certain businesses. They care less. And so I agree with it. These is businesses at the end of the day. They pay their rent in order to be in these locations. And if you want to use a restroom, that is going to be reserved for paying customers. Buy something. Otherwise, no bueno.